So, Jimster, how much did your father influence your music?
Actually, yeah, a great deal. You know, growing up in a musical household was a big deal for me. He's a drummer, so he got to try out a lot of drum machines when they were just starting to come out with the TR-808 and the Lin drum. So they would give him these early machines to try out and test, and I used to kind of get on them, and that's how I started learning how to program. So yeah, having him as a drummer, and my mum's also a jazz singer, so there was always a lot of good music playing in the house, and that definitely had a big effect.
Would you say that audio montage or Jimster is mostly influenced by your father?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just really growing up in a musical household and having that access to studios. Like my dad used to take me to record with Shack Attack, which was the band he was in. So I used to spend all day in the studio with him when he was recording with the band. So I was just kind of soaking up that kind of atmosphere, and at the same time learning and seeing how the whole recording process works. So that had an effect on me. But then also seeing how difficult it is to work with a band sometimes and how time-consuming it is also made me want to work on my own. And like right from a young age, I kind of knew that I was always most interested in sort of working solo and producing stuff on my own. Sure, getting guest musicians in now and then, but mainly kind of keeping it as a sole project.
Would that also be one of the reasons why you left the bass?
Actually, probably not. No, the main reason for leaving the bass was that it was getting such a busy project. I had to make a decision between sort of focusing on free range and Jimpster and DJing, or dedicating my time 100% to the bass. And it was a really difficult decision, and I still really sort of miss playing with the live band and getting to do some amazing gigs, like gigs that as a DJ I wouldn't get to do. Like, for example, we played with Herbie Hancock one time, you know, Bass and Herbie Hancock. Other times we played amazing festivals all around the world to, you know, like 20,000 people. And as a DJ, I'm just playing deep house music, so I don't get to do that. And I really miss that side of it. But at the same time, it's kind of nice being in control and being the only one that you have to deal with when you're traveling around. You just kind of go into yourself. You don't have to worry about everybody else, because traveling with a band is really hard work.
So do you prefer the crowd in a club or as a jazz or a live band?
I just appreciate both things differently. You know, as a DJ, you're the sole person trying to create a vibe and try and create something for people that have a really good time. With the band, the responsibility is a little bit less, because you have the other guys to blame if it's a shit gig or something, you know. So sometimes the pressure is a little bit less with playing in a band. But then other times you're playing bigger gigs, so the responsibility is just as much. So it depends. You get a different energy from both gigs. With the bass, it was interesting because we were always improvising, so you never really knew what you were going to do. So it was always a scary gig, and the pressure was always on playing with the band. And sometimes there's an easy DJ gig where there's no pressure. It's a small place. The atmosphere is really good when you walk in the room, and other times it could be like a really scary DJ gig. So it just depends on the place you're playing.
But your heart is definitely with deep house.
Yeah, I love deep house, and that was the kind of element of music that I brought to the bass as well. I've been listening to sort of deep house since like the very early 90s, and even though I've made a lot of other music, like some drum and bass and sort of trip hop stuff in the mid 90s, still really now I feel that it's kind of all about going back to the roots of house music, especially when you're talking about DJing and playing in clubs every weekend. That's the music that for me I want to kind of push in a club environment.